So, addressing the Conservative Party conference on Wednesday, Rishi Sunak pledged to create a smoke-free generation by raising the legal age for buying cigarettes each year in England. The Prime Minister said this proposed legislation would mean a 14-year-old today will never be legally sold a cigarette. While many health charities have come out in support of Sunak's plan to increase the smoking age, others say the government is going beyond its remit. So joining me now to discuss the Prime Minister's proposal, I'm delighted to be joined by Head of Lifestyle Economics at the IEA, Christopher Snowdon, and GP, Dr Laurence Gerlis. Thank you both ever so much for joining me. I'm going to come to you first, Laurence. Rishi Sunak is effectively saying that we'll have two tiers of citizens, ones who, when they're older, will be able to buy cigarettes and ones that won't. Do you think that there's in any way a threat to liberties?
Well, leaving aside the practicalities of this, because people could go abroad and buy cigarettes, presumably, and there's already an alternative market in the UK for cigarettes. Leaving that aside, GB News viewers know that I'm anti the nanny state. I was anti-lockdown. I don't believe in sugar taxes. I'm pretty much a libertarian. I've been accused of being a libertarian. Having said that, the problem is cigarette smoking is uniquely damaging to health, uniquely. And the problem is that message gets lost because we're told that sugar is bad for us, fat's bad for us, red meat's bad for us, and smoking is just thrown in with there. But it is in itself the worst thing for health outcomes. And let me say this, now, again, I'm not a sort of over-liberal person, but there are huge health inequalities in this country. That is, high-income people have better health outcomes than low-income people. And some people use that data to say, well, let's just redistribute wealth and that will solve the problem. The reality is it's all down to lifestyle and mainly due to cigarette smoking. That is, low-income people smoke far, far more than high-income people. And so I actually applaud a new attempt to address the issue of smoking because I still think it's an issue. OK, Christopher, is it worthy of applause?
No, it's a preposterous, terrible idea. I mean, I actually am a libertarian. Don't just get accused of being one. And smoking is not uniquely dangerous. It's just like it's been said, it's the most dangerous of the things that have been mentioned. But it's not. There's nothing unique about it, which is why all the people who are going after sugar and alcohol and ultra-processed food have felt very emboldened by this because it showed that the government will go even further than they imagined. I'm not saying that alcohol is going to be prohibited any moment soon, but it will make various anti-alcohol policies look more reasonable and moderate. But I mean, let's get into the practicalities of it very briefly. I mean, it's absurd. In 10 years' time, you're going to have 25-year-olds can't buy them, 24-year-olds can buy them, or rather the other way around, 26-year-olds can buy them. It's just daft, and of course it's going to increase the black market. I think a lot of it would be what you might call the grey market, right? A 26-year-old buying cigarettes for their 25-year-old friends. No one's going to respect the law because it's laughable in the first place. And you're not going to feel guilty about it like you would do buying cigarettes for an 11-year-old. And it will also increase the black market, which is indeed sizable. 18% of tobacco is sold illegally, according to the government's own figures at the moment. And prohibition doesn't work so long as people want to buy the products in question.
So, leaving that issue aside of the black market, Laurence, you're talking very much about people's health. Might the better way of dealing with this to be to raise awareness, to inform people more about the health risks that everyone agrees is associated with smoking?
We've done that for 50 years, Andrew. Listen, the biggest achievement in medicine over the last 50 years, nothing to do with me as a doctor or other doctors, nothing to do with drugs or treatments. It was the banning of smoking indoors. Now, this was terrible for the pub trade, but I know from first-hand experience from my patients in the sort of wealthy southeast of England that made a huge reduction in the number of cigarettes smoked. And listen, Fraser Nelson, the Spectator, has said there's no point bringing this ban because smoking is on the way out. Well, it's on the way out because of initiatives like that, banning smoking indoors. And I think it was a huge public health achievement that has saved a lot of lives. I just think it's time to go a bit further. Whether this is the right way or not, we can debate. I just think there is still a lot of smoking among low-income groups. Education clearly doesn't work, so we've got to, perhaps for smoking only, be part of the nanny state and instruct people make it essentially illegal to buy cigarettes at some point in the future.
I mean, Christopher, we do ban harmful substances. You know, this isn't unprecedented, and everyone does agree that smoking can absolutely devastate lives. So isn't there a case for simply lumping tobacco in with these other substances that we already have a ban on?
No, I think there's a case for taking some of the illegal drugs and making them legal. I mean, that's a debate for another day, but I mean, do we really want to open a new front in the war on drugs, knowing what that involves in terms of criminality and, you know, disrespect for the law, apart from anything else? I mean, this law is so preposterous, it's bound to bring all law into disrespect. I don't want to open up another front on the war on drugs. As a non-smoker, I don't want to be paying more tax because smokers are paying less tax, and I don't want to have to be paying for border force to be seizing millions of cigarettes, as indeed we already do. It seems to me a completely unforced error. We don't need to do it. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to stop adult smoking, basically. It has always been at the basis of the government's tobacco control strategy, as draconian as it's been in many respects, that adults, at the end of the day, have a right to smoke tobacco.
OK, well, this debate could go on endlessly. It's very interesting, but unfortunately we are out of time. Christopher and Lawrence, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Really appreciate it.